So I'm walking from Duval Street at the Old Town Tavern, which is right there. And I'm going to head over one block south that parallels Duval Street. And we're heading over to the lighthouse. So I'm going to try to give you a guided tour of the Key West Lighthouse. So we're going to come up one street and make a left-hand turn. The lighthouse is directly across the street from Hemingway's home. So come with me. Let's go climbing. So as you come down this side street, you're walking right next door to Ernest Hemingway's home. And that is not to have people jump over the wall. That's to keep the cats inside. Mode of transportation: scooter, walking, bikes, and golf carts. Yeah, there's cars, but hard to park. So here's the Ernest Hemingway home. We're going to bypass that for right now because we're going to head across the street. So I'm on the sidewalk over here in front of Ernest Hemingway's home, and we're walking here to the Key West Lighthouse. And that's so we're gonna walk around the corner. I don't know if that was the entrance. My vision, again, I'm legally blind, so it's difficult for me to see. So we're gonna come down here and see if there's another entrance. This looks like the place. So give you marquee information. Doesn't look crowded. So we're gonna walk right up here, find the ticketing booth, take a little guided and or self-guided tour of this lighthouse, which I'm following the base of it here on the left-hand side. Maybe it won't be too crowded. So here we go. So I'm still going to post this video, but I got some little heartbreaking news. But you have to roll with the punches. The lighthouse is currently closed due to construction, but we're going to walk the grounds anyway. So it is accessible. So wheelchairs can come through. So the first area is the gift shop.
Down here, right here, is this. And I pulled it up, I'll pull it up here.
So they have t-shirts, map of the Keys, little bags, postcards, cold water on a hot day like this, a tapestry of the view of the lighthouse looking out over Key West. So as of right now, as of Wednesday the 12th of July, it's $5 admission to walk the grounds.
So I thought I would mention that. That's right here. Yeah. Here's where you're at, and then there's where it is. It's right here. It's the ship, if you want it. There.
So some of these depictions of a compass rose, that's really nice right there. That tin. Some people may ask why chickens. Well, chickens roam freely in downtown Key West.
Oh, you're welcome. I try to.
Nautical signage, which is really the cats of Key West. All right.
One more thing here. Yeah, you can use the restroom.
So they do have bathroom facilities here. Leaving the gift shop, they have a little museum area. The gentleman here at the desk is extremely helpful. So ask him any questions. Very knowledgeable. So they have, I've never seen one of these actually in person. This is a first order Fresnel lens. This is extremely rare. So Augustus Fresnel was a French physicist and engineer who first started working with civil engineering. But he had a passion for sailing and ships. So he thought of how to make passages safer. Typically, you would have lighthouses with oil torches at the top, or they would have wagons with torches or bonfires that would denote dangerous areas for shipping. So he came up with this, and this is a refraction Fresnel lens, first order. So what it does is you have the light source on the inside of the lens, and each of the glass prisms are shaped so that way it bends or it refracts the light to a different direction to make a focal beam. And depending on the height of the lighthouse, using this process, the light would travel much further and would not dissipate in the atmosphere. So it would be a focal point. From a distance, you could really see this first order lens, and you see how tall it is. That's amazing. And then here's another Fresnel lens. This would be for a smaller lighthouse. So you have the focal lens in the mirror, and then all the other prisms that help refract or bend the light. And then this is a Fresnel chart here. So that's amazing. So we're gonna walk the grounds. So just coming here to see a Fresnel lens like that is worth the admission price of $5. Now, this Fresnel lens was not original to this lighthouse. This is actually from another lighthouse that was further down the Keys. And you can see this depiction of the lens. And I'm just going to slowly pan. You can pause and read. All right, so now we're going to head out on the grounds, walk over to the keeper's house, and you hear the roosters of Key West. So here's the grounds. So we're going to walk around, and here's some chickens with a rooster. Oh, little angry rooster. Can I go this way, Mr. Rooster? Thank you. Don't get mad at me. So here at the Key West Lighthouse, I was just talking to Andy, who is the head volunteer for the Historical Society of Key West. He's hanging out with 3 chickens and a rooster, and he's loving it. He's got a great office right here.
Breeze blowing.
A nice breeze blowing through here. So we're going to take a tour of the keeper's house. So he was indicating to me that the keepers would have family here that would stay with them. So you would have the head lighthouse keeper and an assistant keeper, and there would be about 11 people who would live in this duplex housing area. Another interesting fact is General Meade of the Union Army, who led the troops in Gettysburg to force the surrender of the Confederate forces and Robert E. Lee at Appomattox, his first passion was lighthouses. So once the lighthouse, once the Civil War was over, he went back to the Commission of Lighthouses. And the Key West Lighthouse was one of his projects that he worked on, that he came back to. So watch your steps. I don't see an accessible ramp, but he indicates that this is a duplex house. So a duplex house is the same on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. And a trolley tour is coming by right there. So we're gonna go inside. It's clearly marked entrance. There's a hand washing station. It's cool aircon. So I'll give you a tour of this room. We'll go very slowly. They're talking about the USS Maine in the Havana Harbor being blown up, which was the precursor of the Spanish-American War. And they are indicating that the lighthouse tender that was here was the first ship to arrive to evacuate people from the USS Maine. If you look here, this is a typical living room. Piano. Could you imagine in the 1800s, the island was probably not developed that much. You had the lighthouse station. This is a view from the top of the lighthouse. And I'm sorry that we cannot climb that today.
It carried passengers and freight directly to awaiting steamships with connections throughout the world. By 1915, the city's lights made it difficult to distinguish the bright, steady lantern of the lighthouse. In converting to a modern flashing system, the lighthouse became fully automated and no longer required the keeper's constant attention. And thus, the long era of Key West Lighthouse keepers came to an end.
So each room is set up as a museum, but each room would be a living space, bedrooms, and kitchens. I'm going to look, but they probably had the kitchen facility not attached to the living home in case of fire. That way the kitchen would burn down, but the overall house would not burn down. So this would be uniforms of the keepers. You can try your hand at tying knots. I am a Boy Scout. I've done some sailing. I am not proficient in my knot tying, but here's a depiction. So this is a good interactive display, so you can learn how to tie knots. Wow. So it was a complete family affair. Your family was involved in helping you maintain the light, because the life-saving services would give you a home. Here is some more Fresnel lenses. So I have seen 4 different Fresnel lenses now. the first order Fresnel lens, which that light is so massive, it would actually stay stationary, and the light source inside would rotate with a shield that would give you the different flash pattern of light. And then as you go lower down in the Fresnel series of lenses, the ones that have, the smaller ones like this, that have the bullet hole circular glass, the light would stay stationary, but the lens would rotate, which would give a distinctive light pattern to the lens. So, and in one of my previous videos, I indicated to you that there's 3 indicators of a lighthouse when you're at sea. One is the paint pattern, the color depiction of the lighthouse in front of you. In North Carolina, you have a red brick one, you have black and white horizontal stripes, you have black and white diagonal stripes, you have black and white diamonds, you have a solid white lighthouse, and then you have a black, white, and gray lighthouse, and then Old Baldy, which is a speckled pattern of lights, our paint pattern. So that's one way. The second way, in low visibility fog, there would be a foghorn, and each foghorn sounds differently, long or short tones based on the lighthouse specific. And the last one would be the light pattern of the light itself. How many flashes, how many non-flashes. Kind of like Morse code. Light, 2 seconds, no light, 5 seconds. Light, 2 seconds, light, no light, 5 seconds. And that'd give you a distinction of knowing where you were. So we're going to exit here. All right, we're exiting the keeper's house. And there's your view of the lighthouse right there. We're going to come down the steps. Be careful, watch your steps as you exit. I'm just going to walk around the house. So this side of the duplex seems to be larger than the other side. It's only because I actually think it is larger. So that would be the keeper's home, because he would always get benefit since he was the head keeper. So at least I'm giving you a really good depiction of the grounds and the layout of the keeper's home. So here at the Key West Lighthouse, I want you to see this. This is a listing of the lighthouse keepers. And if you look at the second name down, is Barbara Mayberry. She took over when her husband died of yellow fever. You can see the year he died. And then she took over. She ran it for 32 years with her and her 5 sons, because this was her home.
That's the third.
And then Andy's indicating that this is the 3rd female.
He ran it for the Bethel family, 1889 to 1914. The woman ran it, she took over from her husband.
So you can see that determined, strong women with a sound mind. You can do anything you want, because you have 3 different women who ran this lighthouse for a combined of over 140, 150 years. So we're going to exit lighthouse, but this is the resident rooster. He's saying goodbye from Key West. One more time, come on. Okay, you're a little shy now. And this is Andy here. He gave me some great depictions. He's a great historian, not just about the lighthouse, but all of Key West. Very interesting man just to sit underneath the shade tree and have a conversation with. So again, come here to the lighthouse in Key West. It's across the street, just down from the Hemingway house, 1 block from, one block from Duval Street. And then heading east or south is going to be the southernmost point, that direction. Now, that's a buoy that indicates the southernmost point, but I don't think it's actually the true point. But come here.
True south is right in the military area.
So
people can't take pictures there, so they just moved.
They moved it.
Point. So
that's what I was thinking. There's a military base just adjacent here. So that's where true south is, but you do not have public access there. So they put the buoy down there, and we're going to head that way in a little bit. But again, come to the Key West Lighthouse. It's a great tour, great visit. Currently under construction because they're redoing the interior of the lighthouse, but it's a great place to visit.